Assalamualaikum and good day. This video is a part of Fluid Mechanics 1. The lab presentation is Bernoulli Theorem experiment. Before I proceed, my name is Nur Elia Atira. I'm a second year mechanical engineering student. Introduction of experiment. I will explain the general equation of Bernoulli's. Bernoulli equation only applicable within three conditions, which is steady flow, incompressible fluid, and inviscid flow, which means no fluid friction. The energy equation represent in the form of pressure, velocity, and elevation. Below is the general equation of Bernoulli, and this is in the term of head, static head, dynamic head, and elevation head. The objective of this experiment is to investigate the validity of Bernoulli equation by demonstrating the relationship between static head and dynamic head. Methodology. The concept of the experiment is to connect manometers with tapered duct to measure the static head and total head at known points. Now, let's see the setup of the experiment. This figure is unfilled F115 Bernoulli's apparatus test equipment. The water inlet is here and outlet, and this is the converging diverging duct, static pressure tapping, a series of manometers tube. So how does this experiment work? Firstly, we have to check the experiment setup and put a piece of paper behind the manometer's tube. The pump was then started to initiate the water flow, and then the swivel tube was adjusted at the outlet tank to obtain a head of 100 mm, and then the height of the water on the manometer is marked on the paper, and then the data should be recorded. And finally, the time taken to fill the measuring tank from 0 to 10 liter was measured and recorded. Result and calculation. This table contains the data that we recorded. Tapping number is basically the series of manometer, the distance from inlet, the flow area, which is the standardized size of tapered duct, the static head is the height of the water that is measured on the paper earlier, the velocity and dynamic head that should be calculated, the total head, which is the summation of static head and dynamic head, and theoretically total head is 0.5, so the percentage difference is the difference between 0.5 and this value. In order to find velocity and dynamic head, the flow rate Q should be calculated first by dividing the volume of water with time taken to fill 10 liter tank. Since we get the Q here, we can find the velocity by using the equation of Q equal to AV. And then we can find the dynamic head with the equation of v squared over 2g. G is the gravitational acceleration. I would like to highlight the pattern of static head here. You can see it started with quite high value and reducing until half, which is the 6 manometer, and it started to increasing from 7 until 11. This situation is almost similar with dynamic head. Instead, it is reversing with a very small and start increasing until half, and since the 7 it start to reduce until the 11th manometer. This is the graph of head against distance from inlet. Red one is the total head, the blue is the static head, the green one is the dynamic head. We can see the almost V shape, and this is because of the diverging to the converging area, converging to a diverging area, and the total head are almost straight as it should be constant. Now we proceed with discussion. As we can see from the experiment result, the percentage difference of total head is quite high as 30%. So this error can be contributed by the friction between fluid and inner surface. This friction can be reduced by reducing the distance from the inlet, and also to make more accuracy, the mark can be made on the tube of manometer itself instead of paper. Finally, we have arrived to the conclusion. By the experiment, we can see the relationship between static head and dynamic head is existing according to Bernoulli equation. The validity of Bernoulli equation is proved in this experiment. Thank you.